ToonGrin.com.
I'm having real troubles trying to figure out what my next spotlight's going to be on. It's either going to be on something Turtles related, being with the new movie and all, or an Adult Swim pilot that I've been interested to talk about for over a year now. This is Whyboy Spotlights, Mr. Pickles. Adult Swim has given us many fantastic shows. Rick and Morty, Moral Oral, and 12-Ounce Nuts are just a few that come off the top of my head. However, today we're talking about one of Adult Swim's pilots, Mr. Pickles. Every year, Adult Swim and Teletoon at Night and the like post pilots of animated shows that they're thinking of producing. Sometimes the pilots are good, and sometimes they really aren't. I've been lucky to get the opportunity to see shows like Forget About It go from pilot to full-fledged series. It's a very interesting sort of evolution from pilot to show. And Mr. Pickles will be getting the exact same treatment in September when its TV show premieres. Now, with this being a pilot review, I'll keep all my points very concise and try to keep spoilers to a minimum, because bottom line, if the premise sounds good to you of Mr. Pickles, you'll like this show, and I want you to watch it. So, with that disclaimer out of the way, the basic pitch premise centers in the idyllic but not really wholesome town of Old Town, where we have the Goodman family, their son Tommy, and their dog Mr. Pickles, played by one of the series creators, Will Carsola. And while the Goodmans think everything is all hunky-dory, Grandpa knows the truth about Mr. Pickles, that he is basically the Antichrist as a dog, murdering for pleasure and doing just about everything that on the first viewing will shock you silent. So from a shock value point of view, if you're into fucked up content, like Undrawn Together, Squibblies, or the like, you'll love this pilot. Thanks to very limited note giving from the higher-ups, Will and Dave Stewart were able to incorporate several scenes in Mr. Pickles that are near nightmare-inducing, ranging from Mr. Pickles scalping a prostitute then using her legs to pole dance, to disemboweling a scout leader and hanging him by his braids. But I ain't the type of guy who enjoys grotesque imagery and nothing else. That's one of the main reasons why I didn't like heavy metal. But what makes Mr. Pickles different? What makes me like him? Simply the show's rate of jokes. Dave Stewart described the show as a 22-minute show squished into a quarter-hour time slot. And if you were ever curious to see what it looks like, the best way to describe it is if you gave all the writers and animators cocaine, then set them loose, this would be the result. It's one joke after another in succession. There's literally not 1 or 2 seconds that passes by without some snappy dialogue, a hilarious visual gag, or a cleverly woven and revisiting of a previous gag. Mr. Pickles views like hot fuzz. Seeing it once, you get some of the humor and some of the jokes, but with multiple viewings, you'll see and hear jokes that you didn't pick up the first time around, making the rewatchability skyrocket for me. Finally, the animation from Hot House Production and animation director Michael L. Mayfield perfectly encapsulates the calm and serene Middletown America feel that the show wants to break, using more muted coloring and clean line work. The motion and animation is also very fluent upon, only deviating when it needs a snap of a joke. So with fantastic animation and lightning-fast humor, I'm looking forward to seeing Mr. Pickles hit the air this September. I'm hoping the writers will keep the lightning-fast pace of the humor and make Mr. Pickles a giant in the animation field of messed-up shows. If you're into shows like that, or you're just curious, then check Mr. Pickles out online and find out for yourself.
Here comes Mr.